Hey there everybody, Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of our rant series. Today's title of today's show of this rant is, how about those overplayed songs that we never need to hear again? There's so many of them, right? Most of them are actually really good songs, but we've just heard them way too many times. And for this episode, me personally, I never need to hear any of these songs again. Even though some of them I like, but because I've heard them so many times, I never need to hear them again. Okay? And for me, my world would be a better place if I didn't have to hear them again. Although in some instances, maybe if I only heard them once a year, it might not be a bad thing. So your mileage may vary, and I'm sure, and this is not an exhaustive list by any means. I'm sure many of you are going to put in the feedback in the comments that, what about this song? What about this song? And oh, that song's not so bad. We're all entitled to our opinion, right? So where you may really love some of these songs, and I'm not saying I dislike any of these. The ones I dislike, I'll tell you. But some of them I don't actually dislike. I just never need to hear them again because I've heard them so many times throughout my life. So let's get started. So the number one song on my list, when I thought of doing this particular rant, this one came to mind first. And again, it's not that it's a terrible song. It's a great song. It's probably the biggest hit this band ever had. As far as like radio and single play, and it's a song that when they play live, of course, no fan can go home without hearing it. Personally, I never need to hear it again. But it is what it is, right? It's just me. So the song I'm talking about is You Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC. I love AC/DC. Love them. But man, I never need to hear that song again. Never need to hear it again. In fact, it's funny, when I got married 10 years ago, I told my DJ, do not play that song. I do not want to play it at my wedding. I love AC/DC, but I don't want to play it. He played it anyway. And I was like, come on, man. Anyway, number two on my list. And again, this is in no order. It's just number two on the list as I'm looking at it. Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. Most of you already know I'm not a big Guns N' Roses fan by any means. And there's a number of their songs that if I never heard again, I'd be pretty happy. I almost put Sweet Child of Mine, but I love Slash's guitar solo in that song. In fact, there's a bunch of tunes on this list that I could have probably taken off, but I struggled with putting on the list because I love the guitar solo. It's so legendary in the song. But the rest of the song I could do without. So Welcome to the Jungle is my tune. I never need to hear that again. Sweet Child of Mine is close, but I love the guitar solo, so we'll avoid that one today. But yeah, Guns N' Roses, they just don't do anything for me. Sorry, guys. I know there are a lot of fans out there. Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit. Another band I just don't have any use for. And I remember when that song first hit, I was pretty into it. It was pretty cool. But man, I got tired of it really, really quickly. And I hear that opening riff kick in now. I'm like, all right, change the channel, walk out of the room, whatever. No interest. Sorry, guys. All right, so no use for this band. And it's amazing how many weddings you go to or functions you go to where they insist on playing this song. Or you go to somewhere where they're doing karaoke. You go to a bar where people are in charge of a jukebox. And haven't we heard this song a million times? YMCA by the Village People. For fuck's sake, people. That song is awful. The band is awful. You know, they were kind of a novelty act back in the day, but Jesus Christ. Can we end it with YMCA? Or In the Navy, any of their other terrible songs? Ugh. Had it up to here with the Village People. Never need to hear them again. Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard. I like Def Leppard, but man, it's a silly song. I didn't like it back in the day, to be honest with you. And they rammed it down our throats, MTV and FM radio. Ugh, Jesus, not a good tune. I don't like this band at all, and this song just irks me to no end. All the Small Things by Blink-182. Come on. Besides the fact that, we've been suffocated that tune with that song for all these years. I think every cover band on the planet who did like alternative and rock radio in the last 20 years insisted on playing that song. Ugh. Genie in a Bottle by Christina Aguilera. Ugh. I don't have an issue with Christina Aguilera, but Jesus Christ. Enough with that song already. Ugh. Okay, so here, the next couple are tunes that I don't dislike at all. They're legendary tunes. And I love the guitar solos on both of them immensely. I could listen to it. These are songs where I could skip the first half of the song. Don't need to hear it, but as soon as the guitar solo kicks in, I'm listening. Of course, we're talking about Free Bird by Lynyrd Skynyrd and Hotel California by the Eagles. Both legendary songs. And again, if I heard them once or twice, maybe 3 times a year, totally fine with that. But, you get around a bunch of people who, at a barbecue or a party or something like that, or you're out at a bar and they got a jukebox, man, it's like, they're going to play those songs, right? Because they're people that only listen to the radio hits. That's all they're really interested in. And say, oh, but Hotel California is one of the greatest songs of all time. It's like, yeah, but I'm sure you've heard it, 3, 4, 5 times in the last month? Because that's all you ever like to play by the Eagles. Same thing by Skynyrd. I don't get it. A lot of better songs by these bands, but hey, whatever. I love Led Zeppelin to death. Love them. And no, I'm not going to say Stairway to Heaven here. Rock and roll. I just have no use for rock and roll. I haven't for decades. I was never a big fan of the song to begin with, but man, it's just overplayed to death. Now you're seeing it show up on commercials, and God, so many better Led Zeppelin songs. Get rid of it. Just have no use for it anymore. I'm tired of it decades ago. Green Day, Basket Case. Enough said. You can probably lump all of Green Day's hits on here, and I'd be fine if I never heard any of them again. Here's a band I love. But man, have I grown tired of this song. Who Are You? A legendary song, but I don't ever need to hear it again. And I'm almost sad to admit, Won't Get Fooled Again and Bob O'Reilly are not far behind. There's so many great Who songs. But man, those 3 tunes just played to death. To death. Free Fallin' by Tom Petty. Another good song. But especially since he passed away, man, you hear it everywhere now. It's like, I'm done with it. Done with it. We Are the Champions by Queen. This is another perfect example of a kind of a cool novelty song that just got driven to ridiculous proportions by having it played at, X number of soccer and football games and commercials and on the radio constantly. And, man, Queen have so many better songs. Stop playing that song. Pick something really cool that we haven't heard a million fucking times already, people. Walk This Way by Aerosmith. Another one. I love Aerosmith. Love old Aerosmith. But I never need to hear Walk This Way again. I'd rather hear Sweet Emotion or Dream On any day over Walk This Way. And then forget about the Run DMC thing. It's like, no thanks. Old Time Rock and Roll by Bob Seger. Seger's got so many great tunes, but everybody's got to focus on this one. And I lost my kind of, I used to dig that song, but I think I lost any love I had for old time rock and roll. Probably ended after the 15th wedding that I had to hear it at over the span of a couple of years. It's just, no thanks. Done. Owner of a Lonely Heart by Yes. I'm reaching the tipping point with that song. I don't get any enjoyment out of it anymore. And I tell you what, another one I hate to do 2 by any band. I'm done with Roundabout 2. I love Yes, but man, oh man, I don't need to hear any of those 2 songs. Rock and Roll All Night by Kiss, another band I love. Just pass it. Just pass it. Done to death. Tom Sawyer by Rush, another one. A great song. Remember how we all loved Tom Sawyer so much when the Moving Pictures album first came out. But man, it's like, come on. There are so many people that they want nothing but to listen to Tom Sawyer by Rush over and over and over again. It's like, God, they got so many other great songs that are better. Something more recent. That Let It Go song from the Frozen soundtrack. Please, stop. Enough already. Ricky Martin, La Vida Loca. Ugh, that was kind of fun when it came out, but Jesus Christ, get over it. Marcia Griffiths, Electric Boogie, Electric Slide, whatever the hell you want to call it. Here we're getting to some wedding stuff here. I never need to hear those. Why would everybody insist they got to play that at a wedding? You mean tell me there are no other fun songs you could play at a wedding? Jesus. And the Macarena is another one by, who's that? Los Del Rio. Who cares who it's by? It's terrible. That song was always terrible. Hey Macarena. No Macarena. My last 2. I jotted down right before I pressed the record button here. I Can't Dance by Genesis. I can't listen to that anymore. And, Genesis had a couple real turds towards the end of their recording career there in the 80s. I Can't Dance is just awful. Awful. That was never a good song. But you get all these people who jumped on the Genesis bandwagon after they became really, really famous, really, top-selling act, and all of a sudden, oh, I Can't Dance, what a great song. Seriously? If you're an old-time Genesis fan, you know in your heart that is nowhere near a great song. That song is probably worse than any of the worst songs on any of those early Peter Gabriel albums with the band. Ugh, awful. Last on my list, one of my favorite bands of all time, but man, I'm just hitting capacity with this song. Is This Love by Whitesnake? I mean, I know why all the ladies like it, but it's like, every time I go see Whitesnake live, and they're still great live, they come up to the point in the show, they're going to play it, and it's just like, all the wind gets sucked out of hearing, Slide It In and Slow It Easy and Crying in the Rain and all the other heavy tunes, and then they play this, and it's just like, oh, geez, gotta play the ballad. Another song, Home Sweet Home by Motley Crue. Fuck, I hate that song. Never need to hear it again. That is the song, ladies and gentlemen, that ruined me on Motley Crue. If you watched my last episode, I talked about how I really got turned off from Motley Crue shortly thereafter the Shout at the Devil album. Then they started to pump out songs like this, and when Home Sweet Home came out, I was like, I hate this, and now I hate this band because they started releasing Drek like this, and I was just like, I'm done. So Home Sweet Home, never need to hear it again. That's it. That's my little quick 11.5-minute rant for today. Hope you enjoyed it. This stuff gets me fired up. Fired up, people. Songs that I never need to hear again. But again, a lot of these songs I actually do like. I just don't need to hear them again. Or maybe not more than once or twice a year. At max. That's it. So visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on the mighty YouTube. So let's hear your songs you never need to hear again in the comments. I'm sure you got all sorts of ones. And I'm sure some of these you're going to be like, I can't believe you don't like that song. I love that song. Or what about this song? Whatever. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. And, but again, these are my opinions. You can't change my opinions on these. This is how I feel. Like I said, some of these I do dig. Some I can't stand and never need to hear again. Don't know why they're ever popular. But hey, it's just me, right? I know everybody has different opinions, so everybody's entitled to them. So anyway, we'll see you next time, guys. Be good. Have a great long holiday weekend if you're here in the U.S., and we'll see you real soon with lots more content. Take care. Bye-bye.